Welcome everyone to the final edition of Testy Tuesday in the month of April. Not ever, just the month of April, because the next one will be in May. Hey, we're looking at Acts chapter 8 as our first reading coming up this Sunday, and that's where we're going to be today as well. All right, something very interesting happens in the 8th chapter of Acts, and that is God directs someone to go and witness to an Ethiopian eunuch. Who is that person that God directs to go down there? Actually sent an angel, one of his messengers, to tell him to go. Who is that person? All right, I'll give you 4 choices. Let's see how much you know this, remember it. Maybe it's all brand new to you. Was it Philip? Was it James? Was it Peter? Or was it Mark? Philip, James, Peter, Mark. Yeah, this might be kind of tough. The answer is Philip. Philip. Well, what's so special about Philip that God would choose him? Well, Philip was one of the first original 6 deacons of the church. You see, the deacons were chosen to serve tables. That's kind of the meaning of the word deacon, is a servant. Serves the tables. Serves what tables? What are you talking about? Waiters or something like that? No. You see, there had been a rift between some of the... Now, these are all people who are Jesus followers now, but some of the Hellenists versus the Jewish people that were down in Jerusalem. And the Hellenists were saying, hey, you're ignoring our widows when it comes to the food distribution time. What's up with that? You got to fix that, apostles. So the apostles got together and said, we don't have enough time to do that and do our work as apostles, which is going out and sharing the word. So I want you to pick 6 people and let them do that work. Well, they got their 6 people, and Philip was one of them. So it's kind of a cool story. And Philip, he begins his ministry up in Samaria. That's kind of interesting, isn't it? Nobody likes the Samaritans. And he converts all these Samaritans into being followers of Jesus. But now he was given the charge by the angel to go catch up with this guy going from Jerusalem to Gaza. It was the Ethiopian eunuch. And he's black. He's black. And he's from the ends of the earth, the very fringes. Some in that society even felt that that was no man's land, that it was inferior to the rest of them. And there's another thing thrown in there. He's a eunuch. Eunuch, yeah, it means he's been castrated. So what? Well, that's a big so what as far as the Jews were concerned, because in the Torah, it's specifically laid out in 2 different places. They're not allowed to worship in the temple. So what's he doing in Jerusalem, huh? Well, it just happens as this eunuch is returning back home from Jerusalem, he's reading from the Bible. He's reading chapter 53, our chapter 53 that wasn't laid out as that chapter at that point in the book of Isaiah, where it talks about this person being led like a lamb to the slaughter and never opened his mouth. And he's wondering, who is this? And now Philip had caught up to him by this point, and Philip, he looks at Philip and says, is this the prophet himself he's talking about, or is it someone else? And Philip lays it out, how it's all about Jesus. And he became a Jesus follower, meaning the Ethiopian eunuch. Oh, now here's one who lives on the far reaches, that inferior country. He's of a very dark skin. The word Ethiopian literally means burnt skin. He's very dark. And he's castrated. He's not supposed to be going into worship in the temple. All those things coming together, and he becomes a Christian. He becomes a Christian. In fact, he becomes one of the first real theologians. Why is that? Because he figured in his mind, he figured out, hey, if I'm to be a part of this, I need to be baptized. And as they're traveling along, they happen to notice on the side of the road there was water. And he goes, let's go, Philip. And they get in the water, and Philip baptizes him. It's a really neat story. A neat story about how we need to expand our visions of who's in and who's out. Because really, there's nobody out when it comes to who God has chosen to be part of his called people. Even this Ethiopian eunuch who was considered, not allowed, you're on the outs. Mostly because he was a eunuch, but also because of the racial thing as well. Gives us pause to think where we are as God's people now too. Do we need to hold up a mirror to ourselves as the church and say, okay, how do we view ourselves? And who's missing? Who's missing in this picture? Very, very good passage to read from. One that makes us all think about just how far-reaching is the love of God. Well, the answer is right there. It knows no boundaries. God's blessings be with you, and hopefully you can really enjoy, at least in our neck of the woods, some warmer weather coming up in the next couple of days. Blessings be with you.